I was inspired to create this update on my life here in Santa Cruz because I had just watched my GoFundMe account video that I made during the summer 2018, and I just seemed very optimistic and excited about going to Santa Cruz. I think that has kind of shifted a little bit. Not too much, but it has been real here. And I guess that's what I kind of want to talk about. Some of you may or may not know, me coming to UC Santa Cruz was not part of my plan per se. If anything, I was really trying and really hoping to attend UCLA. For those folks who have known me for a long time, you all know that UCLA was my dream school since like 10th grade. I wasn't your straight A student in high school. If anything, it was kind of hard for me to even get through high school, and the only reason why I felt like I graduated high school was because I was part of a after school program called the Black Panther Mentorship Program. I feel like that program really saved my life. And I don't mean that to be dramatic. I really do say that with my heart. BPMP, the Black Panther Mentorship Program, really came at a time where I was like in the need for like love and care and guidance. We basically created that club so we can challenge the school to prison pipeline, and we kind of did research, and we pretty much found out that there's a lack of support from teachers, like the interpersonal connections that students and administrators and all these other authoritative figures have with these students. Like, it's not a caring relationship, and I think that was one of the common themes that came up when we were doing our research. If there's not a lot of support from the teachers or administrators or whoever the fuck, then maybe we should just create a club, like a program where students who feel the same way can come together and just talk about things, kind of mentor each other. Love and care and guidance is usually very absent in like low income student of color public schools from K to 12. You have those few teachers, and I think these teachers are coming up more and more, like social justice driven teachers of color. But back when I was in high school, it was really rare to find those really dope teachers who gave a fuck about their students. But I'm really happy and lucky that I came across Mr. Garola. He was my high school teacher, my high school history teacher, who was the one who encouraged us to even create Black Panther Mentorship Program in the first place. So if it wasn't for him and him not giving a fuck or believing in me, then God knows what the fuck I'd be doing right now, He really encouraged me and really pushed me in this trajectory of higher ed and social justice and blah, 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 and whoop-de-woo. I bring that up to kind of talk about why my community college transition, or just, coming to UCSC kind of is blah. My transfer experience has not been like a pretty smooth ride, and I think a lot of people who are transfer students can like also attest to this. Community college is great, but it's not an easy route per se. Like, it's a misconception that community college is like easy peasy lemon squeezy. A lot of community college students, like, they work multiple jobs, or they have to take care of siblings, or they have to take care of family members. But for the most part, a lot of community college students are going to community college because they either don't have the funds right away to go to a four-year university, or they're trying to save money because, yes, relatively, like, community college is cheaper, or because some people like me fucked up in high school and were like, yo, I'm still trying to handle or figure out this idea of college. Let me just go to community college and see what's up. That's basically what happened with my case. I've always struggled with school in a way. Like, I've always had an interest in learning. I know I'm smart and I know I have the potential, but I think because of all these external structural oppressions that occur every day because of my identities, I think it kind of always makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Like, it's that imposter syndrome, right? That's that little voice that's always in my head, like, you're not good enough, like, you're not smart enough, what do you think you're doing? All these like little voices that keep telling me that I'm not good enough. I think that's white supremacy, that's capitalism, that's all these other isms that cause baggage, like they really affect me mentally and emotionally. I think when I went to community college, I was still young and I was really still trying to like find myself, even though I had already started this path of like consciousness and like blah whatever. It took a long time for me to get out of community college. Even then, I wasn't the best student because I have certain distractions. Certain distractions being Brian, who most of you, if you know me, you know who that is. For those folks who don't know, like, he was my boyfriend at that time. I met him my first semester at Santa Monica College. I basically was with him my whole time at Santa Monica. And he was a distraction. And we would talk about it. We're like, you know, maybe we should encourage each other more. But like, you know, it was like young love. And that's for separate video. But the point is, he passed away in my last year of Santa Monica College. That really threw me off. Really, 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 really bad. At that point, I felt like before he passed away, I was really trying to find myself and really get my shit together. And when he passed away, I felt like all that small progress I was doing just kind of went away. It just kind of like bloop. I really fell into like a really deep depression, and I just kind of felt like, well, then what the fuck is the point? Me coming to school and stuff like that, I did it for my mom because like she's undocumented, I'm undocumented. Like, she came here for me to give me a better life, you know, like usual, like better life, better economic opportunities. And I felt like my mom sacrificed a lot, so that was one of the reasons why I would still try to keep going into higher ed. But then when Brian died, I felt like, then what the fuck is the purpose? Like, I'm trying my best, but shit still happens, so then what the fuck's the point? And then Donald Trump gets fucking elected as president, and like things with my parents and my dad being an asshole, having to deal with that shit. And it's just like, and this is not just my own personal story, I think this happens a lot of low income students of color, just youth of color. We deal with a lot of fucking shit. We deal with a lot of shit that schools don't necessarily acknowledge, and they don't really consider when we are dealing with mental or emotional traumas, or when we have certain learning disabilities. But it's not that, it's just maybe because our head is hella clouded with a lot of anxiety that we carry from past experiences, from ABC, whatever. Trying to connect that back to right now being in Santa Cruz, I think this is why I wanted to stay local. I wanted to go to UCLA because at least I knew back home in Los Angeles, like, I had a support system. I was in my safe zone. I had my friends, I had my family. I had a lot of femtors and mentors that were coming out of UCLA or had gone to UCLA. I felt like I had a sense of community at that university. When I didn't get accepted to UCLA, and I honestly feel I didn't get accepted to UCLA because my grades were kind of shit, but because Brian passed away, and I feel like my grades weren't that great after that. And after Brian died, my GPA went down, and it took me another year and a half to transfer after that. Like, he passed away in 2015. It's 2019 now, and I just started last fall quarter. So you do the math. It took me a long time to get my shit back together to even try to transfer. I didn't talk about Brian's death in my personal insight questions because I felt like I didn't want to. I felt like I didn't have the emotional capacity or energy to write about Brian's passing because I was still grieving, and I still am grieving. So I didn't want to add that into my personal insight question because that's like, I feel like that was my own privacy. I didn't want this fucking white supremacist institution to give me a place in their school based on all the loss and pain I've gone through. It didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I wanted to, like, in a way, like, use Brian's death as a way to get me into UCLA. Like, that still doesn't sit right with me. So I didn't talk about that for my personal insight questions. And I feel like because I didn't write about that experience, it didn't really help give a story in the background of why my GPA was shit, like how I was doing good and then like F, D's, F, W's, W's, like, and my professor at SMC was like, you should write about it. Like when I was processing this and like thinking about making an appeal, I was like, I don't know. When I got accepted to UCSC, I was like, wait, like Santa Cruz? Like I forgot I had even applied to Santa Cruz. And then I was like, what did I even apply as? Like, at what major did I choose? And then I realized that I applied as a critical race and ethnic studies major. And I was like, hey, this major seems pretty dope. Sounds like something that I'm really interested in. So I started warming up to the idea of possibly going to UCSC. And then I received the packet where, like, it says, congratulations, you've been admitted to UCSC. And things just kind of started happening from there. I started saying things out loud like, maybe this is just what you need to go through and this is happening for a reason. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go to UC Santa Cruz. And a lot of my friends and family were encouraging me and were very proud of me and were saying that maybe I needed this, maybe I needed to get out of LA, maybe I needed to find new experiences, maybe I needed to find myself away from LA, you know, like all these very philosophical, like spiritual reasons for me to go to UCSC. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to UCSC because bitch, that's the only school I got accepted to. So far, I think I'm pretty okay with being at Santa Cruz. It's taken me a while, obviously, to get used to the environment and the quarter system, because the quarter system is no fucking joke. I mean, I was spoiled. I spent 8 years in community college with semester systems, so I got hella comfortable with that. But being here now, the quarter system is like shit. It's like a fire is lit under my ass, and I'm over like trying to read, right. UC Santa Cruz is still very white, of course, like every other higher ed institution. But I think the most positive thing here for me, by far, so far, has been being part of the Critical Race and Ethnic Studies department. I met a dope-ass fucking professor who I adore, Dr. Mitchell. His advisor when he was doing his grad program was Angela Davis, because some of you might know Angela Davis was a professor here in the History of Consciousness department. But anyways, I was like fangirling over that. And Dr. Mitchell was also the student of Eric Foner, who's a professor at Columbia. And Eric Foner, he writes these books, Give Me Liberty. I love Eric Foner too, and I read Eric Foner at SMC through my wonderful Profe Moreno, Marisol Moreno. She's amazing. I love her. And I've been enjoying these classes so much. I've been learning a lot. And my TAs have been dope. And I feel like I'm just really happy to be here in this department. You know, I've heard horror stories of like white professors who just don't know shit and are problematic. And I haven't had those professors. At least not now. I haven't had them. I don't know if I will. Hopefully not. But I have had those experiences back in community college, right? When you have these white professors and you're like, what? I think I made a good choice coming here and choosing that to be my major. And I'm also minoring in education because y'all know that I want to be a high school teacher and a community college professor in the long run. I think that's the positive part about being in Santa Cruz. The negative part is that Santa Cruz as a city, it's kind of dead. There's not a lot to do. I mean, the boardwalk is pretty dope. I honestly feel like the boardwalk here is way better than Santa Monica's. I think the reason why I say that is because the rides here are way better. I'm like, what? This is like hella fancy shit. But I think what people get attracted to going to the Santa Monica up here is that it's actually up here on the ocean, and like the rides are on top on the boardwalk on the ocean. The boardwalk here, it's not on the ocean, it's like actually like Venice, you know, but it's pretty cool and it's dope. But right now during the winter and fall, it's pretty dead. It's because this is a touristy like city, so it's hella popping during the summer. So I don't know what that looks like. I love the trees, and I try to update my Instagram story as much as I can, but like the trees and the nature out here, it's dope. It's one of my favorite things. And I love the mist and the fog in the mornings, or when it's like hella gloomy and rainy. Like, I know sometimes that can make people feel like really sad and depressed. It makes me kind of happy though. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, that's so cute. Maybe that's like my dark side, but I embrace that shit, you know. But I really like the trees and the green and the deers. Oh my god, the deers are so cute, and like the animals that kind of pop out, like squirrels are spotted here. I've noticed. I'm like, huh, interesting. There's a lot of turkeys and like little quails. They're so adorable, so cute. The crows and ravens, oh my god, those are my favorite birds, and I'm always seeing them, and I was like, oh my god, so cute. So that's also a positive. The dining halls are okay. It's not bad. Positive is that they give a lot of vegan options for those vegan people. Like, that's really cool. And I've tried some of the vegan food and it's good. However, sometimes there is limited options, or there's just pork and beef, and I don't eat pork and beef, so sometimes I just eat cereal. So I guess that's still okay, you know, first world problems. I know my fucking privilege and like my fresa, I guess, is coming out like, hey, like not a lot of food options. Like, bitch, at least we have some fucking food and clean water and shit. I know. Contradictions, you can't run away from them. It happens. So some of the friends that I have right now is because I met them during the summer for the 540 extended orientation, which is a summer orientation, 5-day orientation for undocumented students, transfers, and first years who get to come to UCSC, and they stay here for 5 days. They pretty much get to know some of the campus. They get to know the resources on campus, how to get classes, talk to somebody from their major, etc., etc. And it's put up by EOP, specifically Undocumented Student Services. So if you're interested, if you want to come to UCSC, if you're undocumented, check them out, let me know, and I can try to connect you with somebody. Some of us created an undocumented student club called Beyond Dreams. We're hella new. We're still getting the hang of things. Most of us are transfer students. We're trying to see how we can expand our club, and all I know and all I can say right now is that we're working on things. So just please be patient with us for people who come to UCSC. Oh, positive is that I have really cool roommates. They're not here right now, but Daphne, she sleeps on the bottom bunk right there. I also met her during the summer, which is really cool. And then Chuk, she's from San Jose. She is not here either. She's cool. She's kind of on the quiet side. She's always going back home on the weekends, which is like dope. Wish I could do that, but I can't because 6 to 7 hours away. Daphne's also from Los Angeles. She's from East LA, I think. She went to ELAC. The restroom is right next door, and I appreciate that because I don't have to walk down the hall to the bathroom like at 3 in the morning when I need to go pee. I just wake my ass up, go to the bathroom, come back in. People are hella 420 friendly here, and I'm excited for 420 to come. Like, I heard it gets lit. I'm just really enjoying being up here in the nature and just taking these classes. Negative is that I get homesick a lot. Negative is that I just can't get up and go places because there's not a lot of things to go to here. Like, back in LA, I was here and there and everywhere. I was able to go party on the weekends and like do my work on the weekdays, and it was a great balance. Here on the weekends, I usually just stay and sleep in, or just watch Netflix, or just watch a movie, or just listen to music, or just doodle and write poetry. Like, I really don't do much, but I think it's kind of good because I'm centering myself, and I guess I'm kind of also just emerging into like finding myself, you know. Like, I've had a lot of time to be reflective. I've had a lot of breakdowns, but I think out of all those breakdowns, I think I've been able to come out stronger and just wiser. And I think I've grown a lot just being here for 2 quarters. At the end of the day, I'm just really trying to enjoy this experience as much as I can, because I know that I might not be living in Santa Cruz ever again. Maybe not. I do also have to say that the workload and the imposter syndrome is a hell of a bitch. I still have anxiety, and I think this is a good segue to talk about like social anxiety. I really take friendships seriously, and I like to have meaningful relationships, interpersonal relationships with friends, professors, etc. And I think that takes a lot of time. And I am aware that we all have a finite amount of time and attention and care and love that we can give to people. So I think this is where the whole social anxiety comes for me in particular, because I'm like, oh damn, like I want them to be my friends, but what about if they already have their own friends and their own circle? And I get it, like you want to have your circle tight, and some people already have those tight circles, and when someone like me trying to be friends with people, I feel like that's where my social anxiety comes in, because I'm like, I don't know if they think I'm weird, I don't know if they think I'm cool, like am I even worth being part of their circle? This is kind of like, wow, like it's just a journey basically to just find good people who are really gonna have your back, and good people that you can trust, because nowadays people, you just don't know, people are crazy. And I think that's the whole trial and error situation with friendships, like relationships, like dating. You gotta date certain people, you doesn't work out, you move on, you get wiser, you know what you want. I think it's kind of similar with friends, like it's a trial and error, like there's fallouts with friends, and it happens. And I think it's just my social anxiety is making me just like, because I'm the co-chair of Beyond Dreams, I feel like as a co-chair I have to really put myself out there with other student orgs on campus, so I can try to build relationships and solidarities with all these other student orgs. But I think that is taking a lot out of me, because again, my social anxiety is just like, fuck, are you even a good co-chair? Do you even have the potential and like skills to be a co-chair? Do you even know how to organize? I've never organized on campus. That wasn't really what I was doing in community college. I was kind of doing more youth work outside at high schools. So this is a new organizing realm for me. So it's also making me grow, and it's pushing some boundaries, and I'm like, okay, trying to figure it out. I guess that's a little bit of the social anxiety that I wanted to unpack. I think a lot of us are just really trying to find cool people who we can be ourselves around, and I think that does take a lot of trust, and that does ask for people to be vulnerable and open. And I think that's a very scary thing for anybody to do with anyone, whether it's a lover, a family member, a friend, potential friend, you know. I just really want to be happy here and in my life, and I think that's basically what I want to end it with. Everything that I've gone through in my life has not been easy, and I think a lot of us have not had a walk in the park. And I just really want to ultimately be intentional about being happy and being accepting with the things that have happened or will continue to happen in my life. Not to say that I'm going to be complacent about issues when I know that they're problematic as fuck, because you already know me. Like, I'm gonna talk shit still regardless. I'm gonna be true to myself and my beliefs and my values, and I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to challenge myself, and I'm always trying to grow. I guess I'm trying to balance all that out being up here, like a new space, new perspectives, new growth, but still trying to maintain some of my essential values and what makes me me, continue to grasp on like things from back home. So it's just balance, you know. I'm trying to juggle that. So basically that's my update being here at UCSC. You all saw also my manifesto, like fuck academia, because sometimes academia is a real bitch too, and you have to go through the system to kind of challenge the system sometimes, and y'all know how complicated that can be, and the contradictions and hypocrisy that comes with it. It's complicated, but again, I'm not gonna let that shit bring me down. I'm gonna continue to fight whatever the fuck I can with resiliency and fierce love, because I can say fuck you, and because sometimes you need to tell somebody to fuck off in a loving way, because you gotta love yourself and set boundaries. If y'all have any more ideas of what you want me to talk about, if you have any questions, like DM me, and maybe I can do like a follow-up video on just answering your questions. Anything that you're interested in knowing more about, I can try to do that. I can make a video of like your responses and have a discussion. I don't know, I just like to talk. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all on your Instagram stories.